Next, though, we can reveal that the number of asylum seekers in the East Midlands has more than doubled since the start of the war in Syria. More than 2,000 people are living in our three largest cities while they try to prove they are genuine refugees.
Well, the numbers are still around half the level that they were before the Iraq war, when many Kurds escaped here from Saddam Hussein. But it comes as the government is, of course, preparing to take in more Syrian refugees. So for more, let's cross to Loughborough and our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball. Good evening, Jeremy.
Hello, Anya. This is the Regional Immigration Reporting Centre. It's where the government keeps tabs on asylum seekers from right across the East Midlands. It's where people can be sent away to detention centres if they fail to prove they're refugees. And now more and more of those asylum seekers are starting to arrive here from Syria, as Quentin Rayner reports.
Hundreds of thousands of people continue to seek refuge. It's become Europe's biggest migration crisis in living memory. It's understood at least a third are fleeing the civil war in Syria. Among them was 25-year-old Ahmed, an English teacher from a town near Aleppo, who's currently in Nottingham. His 2-year journey saw him travel through Iraq, Turkey and Greece. The worst moment came when he was smuggled through France in a tanker lorry full of flour for 7 hours with 8 other men.
I was almost suffocating because at that time the smuggler, he took the battery of my mobile, so we were isolated from the world, we couldn't breathe. Eventually we started knocking, but nobody was listening. It was a nightmare.
He's left behind his parents, wife and 1-year-old daughter, and he doesn't think the UK's offer to take in 20,000 Syrian refugees is enough.
Germany yesterday, they said they are able to reach 500,000 a year, 500,000 a year. Like UK is taking 20,000 people in 5 years. This equals one week. Germany is taking the same number in 1 week, not in 5 years,
Aid continues to pour in from ordinary people anxious to help. Ahmed is being supported by the charity Muslim Hands, which is helping to collect clothing, bedding and tarpaulins at its Hysing Green base to distribute across Europe from this weekend. Quentin Rayner, BBC's Midlands Today, Nottingham.
Well, Ahmad's not alone, of course. Around 5,000 Syrians have already been granted refugee status in this country, but perversely many of those same people came into the country illegally using smugglers before they could start going through the asylum process, and that's affected the overall number of asylum seekers being sent to live here in the East Midlands. The figure's risen sharply from about 800 people back in 2011 to well over 2,000 asylum seekers now. And here's where they've been housed. There are currently around 850 asylum seekers in Leicester, almost 800 more in Nottingham, just over 600 people in Derby and a small number in other districts. Still just a tiny fraction of the overall migrant population and still well below the kind of asylum numbers we saw during the Iraq war. But the government wants to stop that same kind of surge happening again, and that's why those new arrivals from Syria are going to be taken directly from camps in the Middle East, which means they'll be able to claim refugee status without using the smugglers, without going through the asylum system and without having to sign in here.
OK, Jeremy, thank you very much.